Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be making cornbread or corn cake, and our ingredients are powdered sugar. I have some water, vanilla essence or vanilla extract. I have 4 small eggs, wheat flour, corn flour, baking powder, baking soda, my measuring cup, and then lastly I have oil just next to the water. The first step is obvious. Like when you're preparing a cake, the first thing you do is to whisk or to whip your eggs until they become fluffy. This fluffiness helps to make the cake soft. The fluffier the eggs, the softer your cake is going to turn out. Next, I'm going to be adding in my sugar, and then I'm going to whisk this up until everything combines. Next, I'm going to add in my oil. You can also use butter or margarine. The next step, and I think the final step before you start baking, is I added in 1 cup of corn flour or maize flour, and then 1 cup of wheat flour, and then on top of that nikaongeza a half teaspoon of baking soda and 1 full teaspoon of baking powder. I placed them in a sieve. I wasn't really sure how my cake was going to turn out because first of all, I've never tried out this recipe before. This was my first time doing the recipe, and then for my maize flour nilikuwa natumia ya number 2. I was not using the, is it called the sifted, or sikuwa natumia hii ya packet. I was using number 2, so that's another thing that I wasn't so sure about. So after sifting, I continued to mix the mixture until I get the consistency that I am liking, or the consistency inakaa kama inaweza pika keki. So I'm going to scrap all this so they can mix well, and as I continue whisking or mixing, I went ahead to add in some water little by little. So have you tried this recipe? Have you ever made a cake with maize flour? This was my first time, and I'm telling you guys, this was so delicious and it was so filling at the same time. And for some type of, I think it's because of the maize flour, the cake somehow tasted like digestive biscuits, like that whole wheat flavor. That's how my cake tasted. I don't know if the taste is still the same when you use the sifted flour, ile ya number 1, unga ya number 1 ya ugali. I'm not sure if the taste is the same, because the taste that I got was just beautiful. After our batter was ready, I went ahead to prepare my baking tray. I oiled it and then used wheat flour to dust my tray. This is not a necessary step, it's totally optional, but I always prefer to dust because it is much easier to get the cake out of the tray. Yeah, and then I got rid of the excess flour, and now it was time to put in my batter into the tray. So as I was doing this, I was contemplating, should I do like a zebra cake, but then I decided just to do the plain one because it was my first time and I just wanted something simple. Maybe the next time, that's when I'll be trying the zebra cake, but for now, since it was the first time doing this cake, I just decided to let it just remain simple. I baked my cake in 160 degrees for 45 minutes, but you can always adjust depending on the type of oven that you're using.
Eventually,
after 45 minutes, my cake was already done. You can see the brown crust. I used a skewer to test if the cake was done, and it was surely done. I was so excited because it didn't backfire, so it was time to get it out of the tray, and it just came out perfectly. Yeah, so that's our corn cake, our cornbread, however you wish to call it, and I'm really excited. So I think I'm just going to cut it and see how it will turn out. The cake turned out to be very spongy, very soft. Just look at that, very spongy and very delicious at the same time. There you have it, guys, a very simple recipe. I hope that you try it out, and until my next one, bye bye.